Why hello there, my fellow operatives. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus, Volcanic Prometheus. Episode 23, The Hidden Base and Seed Money. I would get more experience if I did a little bit of damage to these enemies before they got taken down by the boars, so I'll try to get at least a tap with the spear before I take them down so I can also level up a bit. Which honestly is easier said than done. Like, these boars are just decimating. Oh, here we go. Over here. No, no! Stop it! You're too efficient. Yeah, whatever. Once you hit level 30, all the extra levels between 30 and 60 are just talent point icing on the cake. And there's only 2 operations in the game that can give you talent points. So, like, once you hit level 60, you're done with talent points unless you do... There's a Styx operation and a Prometheus operation that gives you more talent points beyond, but besides those, you max out. Alright, this one's done.
The fringe of the terror zone. Never thought I'd see it open up.
And the last one's at D8.
Anyone knows the full story.
So let's avoid where I had marked and run south.
Where we saw the first signs of terraforming washout. Enough for the predictive algorithms to prove out we failed. I mean, would you want to live in a critter-infested swamp?
Sure wouldn't. Oh, yep, definitely not this way. So, avoid red mark. Go to destination. Yeah, Drake, just to answer you, it's just the game mechanics. I suppose because there's really not a death penalty, the reason for debuffs to persist beyond death is that's the death penalty at that point. Because a lot of other games, like, let's take Valheim for instance, you lose a bunch, you de-level. And I think that would be a lot more of a severe penalty than just like, oh no, your fracture persists beyond death. So yeah, it like functionally doesn't make a whole lot of sense lore-wise. But as far as a death penalty for dying goes, it's pretty tame compared to similar games where you like lose skills or levels or talent points or something akin to that. Because yeah, I will say that's one really rough thing about playing a game like Valheim, where it's like, ha, you lost your ability to swing an axe. It's like, oh well, crap, that sucks. Like my hard-fought 1 XP grind for like whatever talent points. Oh, a Viscid. If I could hit it. And these are like massive nasty slugs. I'm not going to take any of the things. I'm not actually skinning it. I'm not violating the rules. I just wanted to show that it has volatile substances which decay quickly, 1 per every 10 minutes, which are useful reagents. And then it also has a bunch of these other unique to New Frontiers, unique to Prometheus, which would need to go through a cleaner if you want to use some of its stuff. Just keep in mind the organic cleaning residue cleaners are needed for things of that nature. There's other ways to get volatile substances besides hunting. So the rules don't prevent me from using that resource. It just gets a little harder to obtain. Okay, we're all here. Cool. Yeah, I think in my case, if I went back
this is the last
for the pet that died, like I wouldn't have been able to do much because I'm not really ready for a boss fight.
There you go. Stations online.
So here's the last scan. And what do I do after this? Well, it'll be up to you. Do you want me to do the subsequent operation to this or continue on Tier 4 tech? Because I still have a lot of the medical supplies and equipment, all that jazz that I would need to continue. But whether I continue or not, I'll leave up to you. And let's make sure to feed them. Damn it. Needlers are annoying. Oops, sorry. Stabbed a friend. As they, like, pop up where you don't expect them. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to feed the boars while the scan's going on, because every few seconds the boars attack something new.
Prospector, need you to get back to the radar.
I know, Saul. I'm just trying to defend it. Just chill, dude. Can't even see it. Oh, Komodo. What are you?
We need you close to this.
Ah, stop! I'm so close! You can see their little, like, needles that they shoot out. Oh, they even needled the radar. Radar has a lot of hit points, so it's not a big deal.
I remember hearing about the first enzyme tests. Pretty volatile. By design. Trying to rework a planet. That's before exotics were tossed into the mix. What a mess.
Oh, storm. Okay. Looks like we're gonna go to the. Well, you know what? I could probably make it to the hidden base before the storm really like kicks my butt. So let's get there quick. Outrun the storm. So if you haven't voted already, feel free to vote on whether I do another operation after this or I invest more in technology. The next tech I would probably push for would be the attachment bench so that my gear could get better. Either that or a water pump so that I can have like active plumbing. Or even a freezer so I can like preserve food. And then the next operation, I forget what it is off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I can handle it with what I've got. Oh, this is only a, this is a pretty tame storm. It's a pretty tame windstorm. As long as I don't hit the world boss. Make it to cover. I don't really like to be around all these like mangrove trees during a windstorm. Oh, you know what? I am going to the wrong waypoint. Crap. There was 2 home waypoints, and you're right. I was running the wrong one. Well, luckily, with how tame this storm is, I'm really not going to take any damage from this thing. Good catch, by the way. I should probably dye my home's beacon some other separate color so that it's not the same color as the quest waypoints. So I'll make it red or something once I get back home. Easy mistake to make. So 2.5 minutes to vote in this poll, whether you want me to continue investing in the Tier 4 tech or go on an operation. And then if you vote for the Tier 4 tech, I'll have you decide what tech it will be, whether I go for composites, whether I go for attachments, or whether I go for, like, water pumping. Like water filtration stuff. Ugh, frame rate. One of my only complaints with this game is the sort of like the poor optimization. Like the amount of CPU and GPU that this game uses is like not very much, but the amount of like terrain occlusion and visual stuff is like a lot. So the running around the world map like is kind of chunky, even though I have plenty of hardware resources to do it. Only now, during the highest of the worst winds, am I taking, like, a point of physical damage. Hey, Chaos Engine. Thank you for the resub. One more for an anniversary? Well, one more past your last anniversary, I guess. Okay. Are you moving? I'm a little worried about... Oh, no, JD's moving. Given that Medic Sloan, like, paused when he was probably likely fighting the world boss, it was a pretty good indicator that he was, like, stuck. I'm just gonna dip in here for a second while I let the damage... Oh, you know what? I'm allowed to mine exotics. So, yeah, when in Rome. No one, you know, as far as my rules imposed for this, no one lays claim to exotics. Exotics are fair game wherever I go. So, cave exotics works for me. And those kind of cave exotics just, like, randomly spawn. And you can find them in some of the caves you explore. They're pretty common to find. Alright, so it's going to be Tier 4 tech. What Tier 4 tech? What Tier 4 tech to work towards? Composites, which would be... furnace and material, which is the most work.
See if you can get inside. Smart place to build.
So there it is. That's the hidden base up in the tree. It's a tree house. I'm gonna wait for the boars and then tell them to, like, not follow me up there, because I don't need them, like, being all the way up the ramps and then fall to their deaths. Because a fall from that height is pretty fatal. So, don't follow me. Alright, the last one is coming now. Dom, you are this way. Oh, is there an enzyme? Yeah, there's an enzyme geyser right here. Okay, yeah, you go. Alright, now that they're not going to follow me upstairs and get splat by gravity, I can ascend without that worry. Cheers, Crimson. So we've got a rain reservoir with nothing in it. Carpentry bench, empty. Crafting bench, empty. Oxide dissolver, empty. Masonry bench, empty. They got this medium storage with an iron sledgehammer, black wolf throwing knives, clay bricks, and a damaged audio log.
Okay, more to do. I'll need more resin and reed flowers. More gold and iron. Need to find another source. Foraging is slow. Doesn't feel defensible here. Scout for better HQ location.
Sis, are you there? Can you hear it? We miss you. Please come home. I need my big sister. It's not the same without you. They're taking the rain you gave us. Please, we need your help.
Why do they keep sending these to me? Don't they know being stuck here is torture enough? You can do this.
Take what you want from here. It looks like the owner's not coming back anytime soon. All done? Let's get that beacon down and transmitting, and then...
Alright, place the beacon within the base. So, here we go. And then I'm going to pick it back up because I don't want it transmitting forever.
Like your paychecks just arrived. Let's check it out.
Right. I'm also just going to toss this beacon because I didn't make it. So, I don't want it. And it looks like you guys want me to work towards composites once I'm back at base. Cool.
Good work, prospector. You may proceed to collect your reward.
Damn. They really do want you in their ranks. This here thing will decrypt confidential faction communications. That means it'll get you into direct contact with faction reps. These don't get sent out very often. Go ahead and set it up.
Alright, I'm going to try to avoid where I think the world boss is, or at least where Medic Sloan died. My next task is going to be to unlock, or to get a material processor and an electronic furnace. Once I get back and installing the encrypted satellite upgrade into the contact device. So I'm avoiding like D67, so I'm going to travel this way to get back home. So I'm going to travel to like E8, hoping to skirt around the world bosses down here, the hammerhead slug, so it doesn't gank me or my hogs. And having that attachment upgrade to my helmet would like help a lot, so I wouldn't be wandering blind, but whatever. I'll get that later at some point. Swamp road. Cute. Roats are just like little raccoon-like rodents. Non-hostile. And in the logs about them, they talk about how prospectors like will feed them and treat them like pets. Which is cute. And yet I stabbed one. But only to add it to my compendium of data. Alright, so once we're at E8, I'll go north to this corner and then out back to the grassy plains. And once we're out of the swamp, I know that I won't get ganked by the swamp world boss. So last stream I had referenced that there's a world boss right here in the lava, and then the other swamp world boss like wanders a bit more. The lava world boss does not wander. It's in a static location. And if you're wondering, I like definitely don't have the ability to take one of those down yet. They are not easy. Okay, I am starting to become hypothermic once I'm in the water, so I might switch to Gorse Tea. I'm not going to unless like I start to freeze. But the nights in the swamp and the plains are pretty cool. And my bone armor is not very insulating, so that's going to be a recurring issue, I think. All right, 4 are still moving good. All right, now I'm going to work my way to here. The other thing I'm going to need to do when I get back home is to get some prime meat besides bacon, because I'm almost out of stringy or gamey meat. I don't really care what my third meat is, but I'm going to need something. How long do you have before world bosses respawn if I'm able to kill it? They respawn every hour or two. It's pretty frequent, so they're farmable, and then killing them isn't that beneficial if you are trying to remove them from the game, because they'll just respawn pretty quickly. And they're definitely they're certainly not impossible to kill, but they're not pushovers either. Some of the world bosses, not on Prometheus, are a bit pushover. I would say the world bosses, a lot of the world bosses of Styx and Olympus. The Styx is the second DLC map. This is the third, by the way. And then Olympus is the default map. Those world bosses are like pretty easy to like go into roughly unprepared and kill, more or less. Whereas the world bosses here, I think, are a little bit harder, in my opinion. Okay, we're almost out of the swamp. This is the swamp's exit. Then we just need to make it back to the volcano, and we'll be good. Honey smoked bacon is nice if I can get it. Yeah. Well, the other idea is, like, now that the animal breeding is potentially on the horizon to be added, getting a female cow and a female chicken would be another potential goal for eggs and milk, because a lot of the best foods are like cakes in the game, and cakes require milk and honey. I mean, well, often honey, sugar, milk, and eggs. There are some exceptions, like there are some desserts. They're not quite as good, but there's some desserts that only require milk or only require eggs. Like, but some of the most beneficial foods are like both milk and eggs, so that you have to look after animals for that big bonus. Cream in the game is just like essentially whipped milk with sugar, or whipped milk with animal fat, which is not hard to come by. And then you can turn cream into butter. So basically, if you have a cow, if you have bees, a cow, and chickens, you pretty much, and like a few other ingredients that you might have to grow, like chocolate or whatever, you basically have and wheat. You have access to like almost all the best foods. So once I have a beehive or a few beehives, a cow and a chicken, most of the best foods will be available to me, which is not a big deal. Can bees survive in the lava? Yeah, bees survive wherever you want. The other huge bonus of the beehives is once you have a beehive, crop yields go up, which is kind of a big deal given the crop scarcity that I have in the Volcano. So that actually might be a really good, like, even to get like my first skep that's unupgraded might be a real big benefit once I'm starting to make complex foods that require farming, because I'll get a lot more yield. That, and once I'm done with the combat tech tree, I intend to go into the cooking and farming tech tree to eventually get the food pyramid for the extra food slot. So I'll have, once I get bees, I'll also have a bunch of other talent points that are benefiting farming as well. But that's, you know, in a few levels from now. Because there's still a few levels left of rifle talent points I want to get first. With that said, I don't think this is the efficient way to go about it. I think once you have access to be able to source some of the like complex foods, it actually makes more sense to go for food pyramid. I just want to get the rifle tech anyway, despite the fact that it's probably not the min-maxed way to go about it. Because once you have extra food slots, that also means more XP bonuses, which means you level up faster, which is like a positive feedback loop, rather. So I can definitely see intentionally rushing towards composites for the stomach attachment and food pyramid to try to get 5 food slots so that you can stack on 5 foods that add XP so that you just level up insanely fast. I just didn't feel the need to do that for this run. Alright, we're almost out of the grasslands. Well, we have it a little bit more mapped out now than we had before. And the nights in the grasslands aren't too cold. Whereas nights in the swamp, and certainly nights in the Arctic, we would need to switch water from filtered to gorse. Or purified to gorse. What's my move speed? It's still 5... you know what? Why do I still have this quest radar on me? As soon as I get back into the Volcano region, I need to go hunt myself a rabbit and throw it on my belt. For the sturdy shoulder move speed bonus. Alright, the tunnel is here. So, Stewin, when you say it may be possible to use plants for food, yeah, I do intend to have, like, complex cooking. You know, plant-based. Generally speaking, the meats give you health and health regen, and plants give you stamina and stamina regen. That's not entirely true, but generally that's the way it works. Is like vegetables and fruits give you stamina, and meats give you health. And for a challenge run where, like, I'm trying to minimize deaths, it's primarily the reason why I, like, prioritized meat over veg for survivability reasons. But personally, I much prefer stamina regeneration stuff so that I can, like, run and not have to get winded. So high movement speed and high stamina regen would be my own personal preference. And once I have more complex foods, that's probably what I'll end up prioritizing. So that I have, like, an amazing amount of stamina. This must be covered before during the marathon. Games do not look like you absolutely do not get enough talent points to get everything. 100% you do not. You don't even get enough for, like, a quarter of everything. So, like, roughly the total amount of talent points you have is enough to fill out like 2.5 to 3 trees of things, and you have like what is it, 3, 6, 9, like 13 or whatever trees. So yeah, you don't get everything. You have to pick and choose, and I'm picking firearms, farming, and spears. And generally you can pick 3 before you run out of points. So I have a little bit in resources, I have a little bit in hunting, I have a little bit in exploration, but you can really only ever max out 3 trees before you're out of points. So pick your favorite 3. There is respecking, however. Oh, you know what? Well, okay. Dom, Slotus, where is JD? Is JD? Yeah, okay, JD's there too. Alright, let's run home. Did I see the patch about animal breeding? Yes, I've only ever talked about it like 4 times on the stream so far. I'm excited. I hope it's worth it. Because I know that they kind of alluded to the fact that you could specialize. And I really wonder what that means. Whether it's just yet another, like, talent tree for your animals. Because, for reference, it's not much of a spoiler, but I haven't gotten, like, chickens or cows. But basically, their talent trees as it is now is essentially, like, produce more milk, produce more eggs, or be cozy. That's, like, basically all they do. That, like, there's other talent points in there, but they're virtually worthless besides, like, adding coziness so that you sleep better and then produce more milk or more eggs and produce milk and eggs at, like, lowered cost. And the costs really don't matter because once you have, like, tier 4 feeders, like, food costs and water costs for them are basically nothing. Functionally speaking, they truly are basically nothing. So I am curious what they mean when they say, like, you'll be able to do breeding and selective breeding. I hope it adds a layer of complexity. Because as it is now, like, all boars are the same, all wolves are the same. You can level them up slightly different, but there's not a lot of influence besides just picking their talent points that matters. And on top of that, unless you get Laika, the dog that you call in, like, they don't even wear anything. I had mentioned this before, which is that I really wish there was at least some sort of cosmetic item that you could put on your boars or your wolves, because at a distance, you can't determine whether the boar is, like, friendly or foe when they're outside of your health bar range. So if I see a bunch of boars fighting a bunch of other boars at a big distance, I can't start I could start shooting randomly, hoping that I'm hitting the right ones. But it'd be, like, even just putting a harness on the boars or, like, a headband or something would be helpful. Because as it is now, I have just no idea at distance if they're friend or foe. Okay, to finish this, we just slap this thing in.
You're playing with the big boys now. Just remember, these guys have more money than God and tend to use it to get whatever they want. If I were you, Prospector, I'd tread lightly.
Got it. More money than God. And they're irresponsible. Okay, so now that we're back, let's do some harvesting before this stuff withers and rots. Question for you guys. Should I unlock some additional plant seeds? Because obviously I have a bunch of crop plots that are, like, empty and could be useful. Let's see. I only have 7 wheat, so I definitely need to grind up some more wheat. I've got 16 gorse, so I'll keep the gorse. I have a bunch of reed flour, so I'll keep the reed flour. Okay, I'll pull that in just a second, as soon as I put some of this stuff away. So, should I get more seeds? So I got a bunch of, I got payday from the quest and I have a bunch of Ren, and I have a bunch of exotics. So should I spend it on some additional seed varieties, or not, is essentially what I'm asking. And, yeah, we got a lot of copper and a tiny bit of gold. Nice. And if you vote for yes, what I'll do is I'll buy seeds that I think are going to ultimately be useful for like good food later on. I'll be choosy about. I'm not going to just like buy a bunch of rando crap. I'll be smarter than that. One will hope. Oops. Alright, all of my extra water skins I'm going to put away. As well as my Gorse thermos, because I don't need to hold that. Let's move titanium. You know what? My gun hasn't really broken yet, so I won't repair it just yet. It still has like 2/3 left on it. So the current priority right now is to unlock composites. And what that means is getting an immense amount of electronics, because that is what is going to be required. So that's the reason why I'm going to need a lot of copper and a lot of gold. So the total cost of composites. A material processor requires 60 electronics, and then you can't actually make composites out of composite paste, because the only thing that makes composite paste is electronic furnace, which also requires 60 electronics. So that's 120 electronics that I'm going to require, which is nothing to scoff at. That's a lot of electronics. And the get more seeds poll is up, just there. So, let's see. I'm going to start growing trees again. And then, I think because it's useful for, like, so many things, I think all the other plots will be wheat. So I'm sure I'll use it. Oops. Alright, let's deliver some exotics, all but one. And I'll probably want to run the biofuel can over to the oxide to refresh the oxide drill. And also to grab all the oxide, because I'm sure I'll need it. Did my boars make it out of the cave? Yes, they're here. Okay, good. Yeah, the T4 electronics hurdle is real. There is ways to smooth the slope, which is to do a lot of the leveling up into this point, where you are actively, getting the materials that you need. So if you, if you level up to level 30 by, like, getting gold and copper and oxide and wood and the stuff you need to make electronics, then once you have to make a whole bunch of electronics, it's, like, a lot more tolerable, in my opinion. And that's basically been my modus operandi up until now, right? Is I've been grinding this stuff knowing the hurdle is coming this whole time. And you guys say I should get more seeds. Got it. So, once I replace the... Well, while I work on making electronics for the composites, I'm also going to want to set up a beehive and grow sugar cane and strawberries. So, sugar cane turns into sugar, and it turns into sugar more efficiently than honey turns into sugar. So some of the best foods that you get later on requires sugar of some sort. But I also happen to really love mead in the game. So So I want to have both honey and sugar. And because honey takes a lot of time to make, I don't want to rely on honey as my source of sugar because it will really severely limit the amount of like pastries that I can make. So I want to grow sugarcane for that reason. And then the reason for the strawberries is one of the foods that you can make is like a strawberry hard candy, which increases your movement speed by 25%. It doesn't last very long. It lasts for only a few minutes. But if you get a lot of foods that increase the duration that your food lasts, those hard candies can last for like 4 or 5 minutes. So 25% movement speed is immense. The other advantage of those hard candies, they don't take up space in your stomach. So they can be a sixth food. And then on top of that, they don't rot. So you can keep them in your inventory and like not worry about decay. So they're really, really nice to have those hard candies when you're moving over long distances for a long time, whether you're doing operations or whatever. Aim fail. So, I really like to make those hard candies, and those hard candies are essentially strawberries and sugar. But I love to have them when I'm doing operations or long distance travel to make the long distance travel or operations a little bit more tolerable. So, you wanted me to get more seeds, and that's what I'm going to get. The other advantage of the strawberries that I had mentioned before, when I got corrected about biofuel out of plant matter, is that when you harvest strawberries, you get like hundreds of them. You get like a mass amount. And the advantage of that is you can make a lot of biofuel out of them too, because coconuts don't stack in the same way and create rot in the same way that like berries or strawberries would. The other thing I might want to plant is regular berries, because one of the things that would be really nice to... So some of the foods that I'm thinking about is honeymead. Honeymead gives you 30% additional food effect duration, which is pretty awesome. It is also a food that doesn't decay, that can be consumed for water instead of food, which is also really nice. Whereas beer and wine doesn't have the same sort of bonuses as honeymead. So honeymead will be one of the food sources that I would like to continually consume, and that food effect duration is a really big deal. And then the other things would be like, you know, honeyed pastries or chocolate cake or something like that. Thank you for tuning in to Icarus, Volcanic, Prometheus, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow prospectors.